Previously, on the complete vocal mixing course, we finally brought our template to life, dressing each channel and preparing the foundation for the official mix. Now it's time to focus on the heart of every track, the main vocal. And we are starting with one of the most important stages of mixing, Subtractive EQ. Subtractive EQ is all about removing what doesn't belong before we add what we want. Think of it like sculpting. You're carving away unwanted frequencies to reveal the clean, natural sound underneath. It's not about boosting, it's about making space. By removing the mud, harshness, and unnecessary low end, we give the vocal room to breathe. And that's what makes the mix sound professional. And always remember, before you add, subtract. Hey guys, my name is Tasi Music, and if you're new to this channel, welcome. So if you have found us now on this episode, just know that we're in between making a course where I am mixing a song from start to finish. So if you just found this video now, I would suggest that you go back and watch episode 1 so that you don't get lost on what we are doing right now. So in today's lesson, we're going to dive deep into how to properly use Subtractive EQ to clean your main vocal the right way. I'll show you how to identify problem frequencies, control boxiness, and remove harsh tones, all while keeping the warmth and character of your voice intact. Let's get into it. Okay guys, this is the vocal that we're working on today. So what we're going to start with, we need to link this vocal onto its own mixer track. Going back to our template, this is the mixer track for vocal lead number 1. So this is where we'll put the lead vocals of the chorus and the lead vocals of the verse. And then this lead vocal number 2 is for that other verse on the song, since there are 2 people in the song. 2 different people, 2 different microphones, 2 different styles. So you just go here on the track and just assign your audio to the lead vocal number 1. Boom. We have lead vocal number 1 here. And then you can change the color to green. So now if you click here, it is linked to track number 3. And this is track number 3. So let's start mixing this vocal. The vocal has uneven frequencies, meaning that you have frequencies like these ones, these ones, these ones, and these ones. These are the frequencies that are from a different vocal. Maybe it's a mistake when we were doing the comping section of these vocals, because I don't want this thing to be disturbing me, guys. So we're going to double click it like this and then put it on generic bleeding. And then I'm going to change the scale here to put it around 1/6. And then just click here like this, since it's the big frequency, this one. And then click here. Also, we're going to separate you and you. Also, you and you. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to try and match these frequencies with the other frequencies that we have here of the vocal. So this is what you can do. Maybe decrease this thing to around 2 dB and cut you even further like this. Increase you even more to around 3. So now it's a bit even, guys. It's a bit even. And then we also have this frequency here, just to make it easy for the compressor to work on this thing. It doesn't need to be right, guys, with matching the frequency exactly. So now let's listen to the vocal again. So we are going to pull up our Subtractive EQ. So you can use any Subtractive EQ, guys. So we're going to start with the filter Pro Q4. From 20 to 80 Hz, there's rumble, guys. This is where the deep unwanted noise lives, like mic stands variations, plosives, or low-end bleed, guys, from the instrumental. You usually don't need this range for vocals, so a gentle high-pass filter around 80 Hz is a great way to clean it up. That is why we are going to just high-pass this frequency, guys. They are talking about these frequencies from around 20 to 80 hertz, guys. So this is 20 to 80 hertz. 80 is around here. There are no human vocal frequencies you would find around these frequencies. That is why we always tame them, guys. As you can see that my vocal frequencies, they start around here, guys, around 200 upwards. So there's nothing for me here. It's all just fluff and rumble frequencies and just background noise that is not needed in the vocal. So at around 95 hertz, it's where you can start feeling the high pass filtering of this vocal. Now at around 358, you are no longer doing the low end cleanup. You are actually doing something else, guys. Okay, so I'm sticking with 100 hertz, guys. At around 100 to 200 hertz, that is where you'll find the body and warmth of the vocal. So this area will give your vocal fullness and weight, but too much here can make it sound muddy or boxy, guys. So if your vocal feels cloudy or too thick, try a small cut at around 150 to around 200 hertz. So in this case, our vocals, they are not that muddy in this frequency. So we are just going to stay at around 100. But if you're working maybe on those broad vocals for male vocals that have deep voices, then you can go a little bit back, guys, to around 80 hertz or 90 hertz. It depends on the vocal that you're working on. Okay, now that you have tamed these frequencies, it's time we continue with the vocals. So now the frequencies that we are actually going to focus on, we are going to focus on that 250 to 500 hertz range, guys, because that is the mud zone. That is where you'll find the muddy frequencies on your vocals, on most vocals around those ranges. So let's do this. So guys, this range often builds up when recording in untreated rooms or layering multiple takes. So reducing a few dB here can instantly make your vocal sound clearer and more open, guys. So we are going to start sweeping away from around the 200 hertz range and 500 hertz and see if we can find something here. So we are going to click here. I like to do my subtractive EQing, guys, using a dynamic range. Somehow I just like how it sounds on my vocals because it is not as harsh as using a static EQ, but there are frequencies where I will actually use a static EQ and you will see here, guys. Okay, so there's a frequency here that's around 299. It's around 300 range, guys. I just want to tame it a bit. I want it on the mix. So I'm just going to tame it, guys, a bit. Nothing drastic. Just taking around a dB. So I'm just going to make it a bit wider like this. Okay, still on this frequency, let's see if we can find another one. Make a dynamic cut and then boost it like this. So this is at around 500 hertz. There's a frequency that I don't like here. So let's tame it a bit. So this one, we're going to be a bit drastic here at around 3 dB. See? And then make it a bit narrow, guys. So as we said, that these frequencies usually lie at around 250 to around 500 hertz. That is where you will find your mud zone. And then now that we have tamed the mud zone on this vocal, we can continue with the other frequencies on this vocal. So now the frequency that you need to actually focus on, we need to focus on those frequencies of around 500 to 1k hertz range, guys. So we need to focus on those frequencies because that is where you will find in most vocals, that is where you'll find the nasal range of the vocal. So let's try and find the bed frequencies on these ranges from 500 to 1000 range. So if your vocals sound like it's coming through a telephone or feels too forward, you need to check these areas, guys, because a gentle cut here can help your voice sit more natural in the mix. That is why we are actually cutting these frequencies from 500 to around 1000. So we're starting from here. We already found this frequency, guys, here. So let's continue. They are around here, guys. This is the 1000. Yeah, we've already found this frequency here because this from 500 to upwards, it falls under that sound, the telephonic sound, nasal sound that you find. So let's make a dynamic cut here again, and then we need to boost it like this. There's definitely frequencies that are bad here. It's around 866 hertz. So we're going to tame them also like this. And then, guys, after finding this, there are frequencies at around 2000 to 5000 hertz range, guys. That is where you will find most of the presence and harshness of the vocal. This is where intelligibility and clarity live, but also where harshness and ear fatigue can appear. If your vocals sound aggressive or sibilant, slightly tame 3000 to 5000 hertz range, but don't overdo it. This range also helps your vocals cut through the mix. So here there's just one frequency I don't like here. It's this one. It's around 1500 hertz range. And then let's also find other ones. Okay, there's nothing here, guys, just harsh frequencies that we've already tamed when we were doing that vocal preparation stage. So this is what I'm going to do here. I'm going to actually cancel the vocal dynamics and make it a spectral shaper range. Now, this EQ will only work on the harshest frequency in this range. So this is where an EQ works like Soothe 2 on a vocal. It only works on the harshest frequencies. I'm not going to do anything at around from 5k to around 10,000 hertz range. So it sounds nice, sounds amazing. One thing that you can do is to just go back and fix the dBs. We may have gone a little bit far. It still sounds amazing because when it's time to bring back these frequencies, they will now come back so much controlled, guys, because we're still going to boost this vocal. don't know if it's you or me, but I feel like this vocal is somehow leggy today. Maybe it's because I've been working on this song for so long. So let's try and, like push it a bit. And that's the power of Subtractive EQ. Cleaning your vocal before anything else touches it. In the next episode, we are staying in the cleaning phase, but we're taking it to the next level using Many Triple D, a plugin that helps manage harshness and unwanted frequencies in a musical way. So if you've cleaned your vocals with EQ, great job. The next step will make that clarity shine even more.